guys!
Surprise! Hi!
Welcome to Geekdom Movies. This is a movie that I did not want to watch, and I was making fun of it the whole time. And Shannon was like, "I want to go see it," and then George was like, "I want to see it too."
It looked so good.
So I will say this, as someone who never watched the trailers, and I was telling this to George earlier, I thought this was a rom-com before I watched it, because that's what I just saw a picture of, like sexy Harry Styles with his hair down, and like Florence Pugh, like like that thing, and I'm just like, oh, it's like some weird like rom-com like dramedy, like not I.
No, when people look that perfect, it has to be a horror.
All right, guys. So we just saw "Don't Worry, Darling," and if you think the shenanigans that happened between like all the drama with Shia LaBeouf and Florence Pugh being pissed off at Olivia Wilde because Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles were like basically like having an affair and like running late, and like everybody was mad. And then there's the thing where like Harry Styles apparently spit on Chris Pine.
So Harry Styles comes to take his seat beside Chris Pine. His mouth seems to go into an oval shape as he hovers over Chris. Then Chris stops clapping to look down at his pants. He has a look of bewilderment and then smiles and laughs to himself, and Harry seems to be looking around and acknowledging other people. Twitter handle Max70J tweeted, "Harry Styles appears to spit on Chris Pine. I won't sleep until I know the truth."
Which made no sense, and I watched that video in slow motion.
It looks like he spat on him. I'm like 100% sure he spat on him. Even though Chris Pine denies it.
I don't think
the reactions though were just, it was like he was spitting on him. Maybe he fake spat on him.
I think that's why everyone thought so, is because I think like like the camera made it look that way. But Harry Styles is a really big like star. He's not just gonna go and spit on Chris Pine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think so either.
The more I read about this movie, George, and I was texting you because we were like,
we were
did
all
you hear
talking
this?
about it,
Oh my gosh, did you see this happen? Like, oh my god, and, like, we were like every few days,
there
like
was news
some
about it.
other news about this movie.
Yeah, I couldn't wait to talk about it.
So like, and the fiasco that went on, like, of course, the biggest news of them all is like Olivia Wilde had an affair with Harry Styles. So as the story goes, Florence Pugh was very upset, and again, we don't actually know. This is from like secondhand information that we're being told, and like I guess like she was married with her husband, and like they were having an affair, and they were just always late. Like as a director, you're supposed to be like present and ready to go, like especially with these like movies take a long time. Like you can shoot one scene 12 hours straight, that's supposed to be like 2 minutes. Shooting like 2 other movies, I mean, Florence Pugh is kind of a big name, and for her to get upset and like to that level, I can see her point of view. Like Olivia Wilde and like holding up the entire set for like, and being late all the time because they're like romping around having an affair, crazy stuff. Now, I don't know if any of this is true. This could all be a lie, but from everything I'm hearing, more than likely there's some truth, right? Like, we don't know for sure. Yeah. There's probably like a silver lining there somewhere where some of it could be over the top and some of it, like you saw it, like when they did the premiere, like Olivia Wilde and Florence Pugh were like on the other side. They didn't make eye contact. They wouldn't talk to each other. You could literally feel the tension in the room when I was just like, oh my god, they're gonna kill each other. Like this, they're never
feel it on screen when they were acting.
Honestly, yes.
Yeah,
you could still feel tension in that.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that benefits the movie more than it does like real life relationships. We and like you read all this stuff and like I don't even know what this movie is. Anyways, the point I was trying to make was, I saw this movie. I did not watch any trailers, and oh my gosh, this movie is bananas. And I gotta tell you, I'll share some of it later. I'm gonna go last, but my theater was like either high or drunk. Like the first hour of this movie was just a really good time for us, like in my theater anyway, just because the movie was just so ridiculous, over the top. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It's like Stepford Wives,
Yeah,
like
Stepford Wives for
like
sure.
Bewitched or something, like this 1950s like women who are trying to like live this perfect
Like Leave
life.
It to Beaver, like
Yeah.
Andy Griffith, yeah.
But like really raunchy with sex and like
Yeah.
and like, you know, I think like
Probably
I
how
think
the actual 50s really were.
Yeah.
And not the Leave It
not
to
the
Beaver.
behind closed doors version.
like
Yeah.
literally like I felt like every 10 minutes Florence Pugh and like Harry Styles were having sex.
Yeah.
Like literally like every 10 minutes. But I'll go last and I'll tell you all about like my experience in theater. But right now I'm gonna start with Shannon, your review first, then George's, then I'll go last for non-spoiler.
Okay, I really liked this movie. I was attracted to seeing it because it has Florence Pugh in it. I think she's great in everything she's in, and I loved Midsummer. Don't even say it's a comedy.
It's a comedy.
Stop it.
Yeah.
And
so is this movie.
And I liked some of the trailer where like the glass is pressing up against her face. It reminded me of that movie that we watched called I'm Thinking of Ending Things. Remember that one?
Shoot, what was that about?
It was about that girl who's like dating a guy and going to meet his parents, and like
And you
everything
find out
goes really weird and it's
she was
creepy
fake.
and yeah.
Oh, the pig.
Yeah, with the
The
so,
pig.
Okay, so
That's the one part you got out of it.
That's all I remember.
That's the animated
Because
pig.
it was the running of the pig in the high school, yes. That's
so
what I remember.
that's what I was picturing going in. I was like, this is gonna be like a really wacky, like philosophical horror. What do they call it? Psychological horror.
Thriller?
Psychological thriller.
Yeah.
And that's basically what I got. It starts off like everyone is in perfect paradise. Are we doing spoilers or no spoilers?
No spoilers.
Okay, everyone's in perfect paradise.
But you've seen the trailer, so you know what the
Yeah.
trailers show, so you can talk about that.
Exactly.
And then the one of the girls starts to realize that all may not be as
What do you
it
think
seems,
They're really
but
doing out
everyone
there?
around her is telling her that she's going
What do you
crazy,
mean?
and she starts to think she might be, and it is so good, and the aesthetic is absolutely beautiful. And if you like anything to do with the 1950s, or even if you don't, this movie might make you like the 1950s. It was kind of like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where this makes you. That movie made me feel like I lived in the 70s.
One thing I'll give this movie, and I agree with this, the
Yeah.
costume, the soundtrack,
The
cinematography,
makeups,
the
Amazing.
outfits,
the movie's not as good as
houses,
how good this movie
the
looks.
cars.
The
The
cars.
cars were so cool. I don't even care about cars, but the cars were beautiful. Like in the same way that like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood made me feel like I had lived in the 70s. This movie
Yeah.
kind of gave me a taste of like living in the 50s for
Right.
for real, instead of like watching a a sitcom from the 50s might. So that being said, this movie kind of made me want to be a 1950s housewife.
Well, there you go.
And we'll get more into that in the spoilers. George?
So,
Oh.
recommend it?
Yeah, definitely recommend it if you like anything to do with thrillers, or like if you like Black Mirror, you'll love this.
Dang it, you stole it!
Ah!
You stole it! I was actually
Hey,
thinking
come
of
on,
that
that's-
that one Black
was
Mirror
Shannon's
episode.
thing,
No,
though.
no, no, I
Shannon's
know.
thing.
It is
No, I
too
know.
easy.
We all know this.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I was trying to watch this movie like 3 or 4 times this week.
You really were.
And they all fell through. So like I watched it finally, and I have to say, like, maybe part of it was just that, you know, I was just alone in a theater watching it, so like it's a different atmosphere. But it did not I don't know. It was a good movie. By all means, it was a good movie.
Mhm.
But I've seen
Hey,
others
this is
like it.
not a good movie.
I've seen others like it.
I would say this
It's
is
a good movie. It's a
no,
great movie.
it's a terrible movie, and I agree with the critics. The story and the plot is
There's-
terrible, but I still like
Yeah.
this movie.
There's aspects to it that make it good. I would have to say it wasn't like I was rather impressed with like Harry Styles acting a bit.
Yeah,
So like I was rather impressed with how he did. At the same time, I feel like it might have been slightly catered toward his strengths in regards to the scenes that they did, because the actual acting portions of it that like Florence Pugh had,
yeah.
they were much harder to pull off, but she did a fantastic job of them.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
There were other other things with it as well, but like I won't get into that. And
It's hard not to talk spoilers in this movie.
It is very difficult. It's very difficult. I do have to say that, like, you know, some of the I did like the time setting that they had for it.
Yeah.
The like costumes and everything were great. Like people looked really good back then.
Oh yeah. Back
Well,
then.
they had to, because
Yeah.
you know that's what it was
That
all
was
about.
that
right?
was what it was all about, which
Right.
is like it kind of sucks in a way, but yeah, yeah. It was a very it was a good thriller, I would say.
Would you recommend it?
It would depend. It would depend on some things.
Like what?
On whether or not you're okay with plot holes. If you're okay with plot holes in a thriller, which most people aren't.
So I go with my friend, and it's like a 3 p.m. showing. Like it's a like 3 or 4 p.m. showing. Like we just got out, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, I heard about this. Like it sounded cool. I'll go with you." So he came with me, and we're sitting there, and our crowd was like, I don't think it was 4. It was like right after dinner, so it was like 6 or something. But like we're sitting there, and like the first beginning of the scene, it just looks really weird. In like the first few minutes, they're all like holding glass, and like Florence Pugh's going like this. I can't explain like her movement, but it's just like this weird like head movement. And this guy that's like 2 seats in front of us just completely lost it. He thought it was like by far the funniest thing in the world. And like,
Okay.
and it, you know,
It was-
do you ever get like infectious laugh where like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just, it's not annoying. It's like everyone just kind of like, okay, this is kind of funny, and then everybody, started laughing, and you kind of see why. If you're with the right crowd and you're sitting in this movie, the acting is really weird. Like, can we all just admit, like, they're all doing really weird things on screen? And I'm not talking about, like, as the movie progresses, you understand what's going on and the plot, and you're like, it's just a really, they're all, like,
I didn't even think about that.
Like, I'm just like-
there's one scene, yeah, that close to the start where you're just like, whoa.
Right.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious because it's so strange.
Right, and like I can't talk about it because again it would be spoilers. But trust me, there's really weird scenes in this movie. But if you go and finish the ending, you're like, that's why they were acting all very strange. But the point of a movie is, and my biggest issue with this movie is, you got to start out strong, and this movie needed like a strong like opener, and it
Yeah.
did. Like Nope is a strong opener.
Nope is a
is
great
like
opener,
that
yeah.
monkey just murdered. Like
Some crazy stuff is
there's-
about to happen.
yeah, like that monkey just did some bloody stuff. We don't know what's going on, but oh my gosh, I'm already freaking out.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
This movie starts with a weird, awkward dance thing where everybody's
But I wanted to be at that party though.
That party was lit.
I wanted to go to that
Sure.
party. Yeah.
and I'm probably missing a lot because people were laughing too hard at that point, and like my brain is just gone at that point. But like as the movie progressed, there's some acting and a lot of plot holes. Like
Okay.
I'm not saying like 1 or 2.
No,
I'm
it's
talking about like a giant
almost-
elephant in the room plot holes. But it does kick in to a point it shouldn't take more than an hour for the movie to actually become good, but that's kind of like what like if you really want this movie to be good, you have to just kind of like tell your audience, wait the last hour, and that's never a good thing in my opinion. You should not have to wait an hour for the movie to get better.
Yeah.
So
it could have been a 45-minute Black Mirror episode. It would have been great.
I mean, like 2 hours, 2 hours for this movie, and I'm like, get to the point. Like Florence Pugh can only be as crazy so much on screen because I'm just tired of you being crazy on screen. Like, get to the point. And the amount of time, and maybe they were thinking like Florence Pugh is such a great actress. We
People
should just
want to
She
see her
is
on
really
screen.
good.
It doesn't matter what she's doing.
I
Which is
Sure.
true.
will watch her
Which is true.
act.
Which is true, and there's nothing wrong with that. I also want to see Florence Pugh act up on screen because she's a
Mhm.
great actress.
She is.
But when you drag it out for 45 minutes longer than you need to, you start losing people. And they're kind of about, I think like we were like at the very edge before people walked out. And I think around that time, without going to spoilers, like the movie finally starts explaining itself. Way too long. Way too long. Unless you're like I don't know, Stanley Kubrick or one of those great like Steven Spielberg, like somebody like Olivia Wilde. Like I loved her last movie. I forgot the name of it. About these two girls, they swear up, and they're just like kind of raunchy. Like I forgot the name of it. It's a really good movie. It's a comedy, but I don't think Olivia Wilde was really prepared to make this movie what it really could have been. She's still at amateur level. Not that she's a bad director or writer by any stretch of the imagination. She definitely has chops, and I think like like another movie, I think like she'll get better.
Yeah, this was her debut, right?
No, the other one was with the two
Oh,
girls
okay.
swearing up. Like it's a really good movie. It's a
Okay.
comedy about these two high school girls who literally run around being like raunchy and swearing it up like boys.
Oh,
And it's really
yeah,
funny.
yeah,
What is the
yeah.
name of it?
Oh,
I can't remember.
So good too. I can't remember.
So that was her
like Goose
debut.
or something?
I literally can't.
It was
I
like
remember I saw it. I just forgot
A
the name.
plus or top grade or grade.
I don't know.
Yeah, something.
I'm not even gonna try to guess. But it's funny. It was a funny movie. And this one, with all the drama that's going on, and I totally believe Shia LaBeouf when he like Olivia. I mean, first of all, why is Olivia Wilde going to Variety or Hollywood Reporter?
Book smart.
Book smart.
Yeah.
Why is Olivia Wilde going and like literally saying like, "Oh, I fired Shia LaBeouf because he was like threatening Florence Pugh and like made her feel unsafe."
Was he originally playing Harry Styles' role?
Yes.
Really?
And like
Oh.
Shia LaBeouf is like,
I don't
are
know.
you
Harry
furious?
Styles was great in this.
yeah, no, he
He
was,
really good.
but she kind of shot herself in the foot. Why would you lie about that? And then Shia
Yeah.
LaBeouf's like, I have all of our video and text messages, and he just put it out there for
He's-
everyone to be like, she's
yeah,
lying.
Shia
Why did she?
LaBeouf's never
The
been
only
known to
she's
be
like
abusive.
she didn't fire me. I quit
Oh.
because she didn't give us, and I guess Florence Pugh was on the same page with Shia LaBeouf.
Okay.
Like, you're not giving us enough prep time to learn our lines and learn our characters. We can't start filming yet. And watching the first hour of this movie, Shia LaBeouf was 100% right. Now, don't get me wrong. Chris Pine, Florence Pugh, even had Harry Styles here. Like, they're all good actors.
Mm.
But you can tell this movie needed prep. Like, this movie is, like, this movie's a lot. Like, this movie has to either hit certain notes or it's gonna misfire. And this movie, I can see the critic score, I can see the plot holes now, reflecting on what Shia LaBeouf was talking about. I still think, like, this movie has something going for it, and we'll talk about that in the spoilers, but there's just so much. So I'm gonna say, man, do I recommend this movie? I like this movie. You really should turn off your brain. I think George would agree. Or else,
Yeah,
Have a
it's
drink.
not.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not something that you would like. It has some pretty good aesthetics to it, but like it's not normally what you would look for when you're looking for a psychological thriller.
It needs to
Even
be
though it is a
fine-tuned.
psychological thriller.
Right. Like,
It's also a period piece. If you enjoy 50s period
Exactly.
pieces, and have at it.
again, this movie it's weird. It's a weird movie. Because it's like,
Well, it's not really a period piece, but it kind of is.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
let's not talk about that. part
Okay.
yet.
Yeah.
That is spoilers. But, which, like, a whole nother thing to talk about. But, I will say this. Like, this movie is just very strange because it's trying so hard. You can tell it's trying so hard to be good, but it's like it's just not. Anyways, yes. If you've seen it, you know what we're talking about. Like, check it out. Leave us a comment and tell us what you think. Right now, we're gonna go into spoilers discussion. So if you haven't seen it, come back later and we'll talk about it. Okay, now that we've all got that part and everyone's on the same page, the funniest thing I read, that I couldn't talk about this, but I wish I could have in the beginning. Funniest thing I read was Olivia Wilde watched a Jordan Peterson like video
Really?
and said like, I hate that guy. I'm gonna
Oh.
make the villain. I mean, Chris Pine's totally playing a psychotic Jordan Peterson.
No, I didn't get that at all.
That's what she said. I'm
Jordan
just talking.
Peterson?
Heck?
Really?
So okay, a little bit of backstory on what's going on with Jordan Peterson.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Jordan Peterson, I don't know much about him. What happened was he and Jake. Same thing with J.K. Rowling. Shut your damn mouth. Like, seriously, you guys have to learn to shut your mouth. Like, you're gonna get canceled, and it's for this reason. And Jordan Peterson and J.K. Rowling's are now examples of it. If you don't believe in LGBTQ rights, don't say it thing.
This was something he actually put on Twitter.
Yeah.
That like everybody was like, "Why did you?"
There's
do
a
that?
reason they're
He
deleting.
doesn't believe in compelled speech. Anyway, this is irrelevant
That
to the
wasn't-
video.
Yeah, that's not irrelevant speech. He literally, there's video evidence of him saying that being trans is not. I'm not gonna comment on it, but I'm just saying that's what he said. Like, and you say that, and you talk about that. As far as Hollywood and majority of where our society is going, they're not going to take that very kindly. We saw that with the 20th anniversary of J.K. Rowling movies. They did not mention J.K. Rowling once in that entire special. And I watched that entire special. She's been canceled. And she doesn't care. She's a billionaire. She made lots of money from Harry Potter.
Yeah, she doesn't
So,
need anybody's money.
yeah, so she's going out and it's like, nope, I don't give a crap. I don't think trans or being that is okay. Jordan Peterson is doing the same thing. Whatever. But if you, seriously, just stay out of stuff like that. And, like, I get what Olivia Wilde made him into a target. So Chris Pine plays a guy who's basically Jordan Peterson, who is just a very warped version of Jordan Peterson, if that's how she took it as. But that's literally what she said. She said, like, I saw an interview with Jordan Peterson, and he said this, and I made him into a villain because he deserves to be attacked. Now, that's starting off. That's like, that's a bombshell of a movie title, right? So, like, that's what happened. And then everything else in this movie, and you're like, well, yeah, but that's not what you're showing in this movie. So why did you call Jordan Peterson a villain when this guy, who Chris Pine is playing, is literally telling men to, like, brainwash them and put them under hypnosis and then warp them into... And how does that even work? Like, you see Harry Styles living today in his apartment, right, with his wife, Florence Pugh, who is obviously the breadwinner. Like, she is, like, a surgeon, a doctor. And Harry Styles watches Chris Pine's YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
And he puts her over, like, these weird, like, hypnotic legs of women in circles with their eyes open, like orange, clockwork orange.
Yeah.
And, like, okay, so now they're still in bed, but they're under a spell?
No, so it's like, it's kind of like, I think it's sort of like hypnosis and like,
Mind control?
also some kind of, yeah, like there's a certain amount of like,
And they're...
virtual reality to it.
Is that what that is? Because they did not explain
Yeah.
that part.
Yeah.
I'm
so
like, this makes
basically,
no
like,
sense.
Somehow, I think
Yeah, it's like virtual reality.
it was
yeah.
basically supposed to be virtual reality, but like the way they showed it was like it can't
was
possibly
weird, but-
work like that. But okay.
But that's-
It like shot over their eyes. It had like put a virtual screen in front of their eyes.
Yeah, but okay, so then I read I went and dug through, like, what the heck was that ending, right? Because
Yeah.
none of this makes any sense. And apparently, the men are told to put their wives under this, whatever this is, and, like, okay, and, like, but how are they eating and pooping and taking a shower?
The husbands had to take care of their
Yeah, that
wives.
makes even weirder.
It was like being like a vegetable. It's like being in a coma. They hook you up to an IV
Yeah,
and they
that's
hook
why
you up
she
to a
was, like,
catheter.
yeah.
Yeah. They just
That's why she
they
had the
keep
IV
people alive like
hooked
that
up
for
to her.
decades in comas in the hospital.
How do these men know how to do all this stuff?
They
I
probably get.
think that was
That's a
supposed to be
huge
part of it.
Well, remember he said it cost a ton of money, and he had to go work every day to earn money to
Well,
keep
yeah,
them
I
in
understood
there.
that when they all got in the car and they went to that, in the beginning you saw them all drive.
Running an IV and a catheter is not that hard. I say that as someone who's never done it, but it can, it's not rocket science. It can be you can learn that.
Right, but it's
True.
janky and the plot. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna buy that. There's no way these men are all so good at controlling all of their wives to put under this, and they're all under this. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, she
Like-
was a surgeon. Maybe he was a doctor.
No, he was
No,
a
he was
loser.
definitely not.
No, he lost his
Doctors
job.
can be losers.
No, he
No,
lost
he
his
was-
job. No,
Maybe he was a nurse.
There was so much that was wrong with like the whole setup of how
Oh,
Maybe it's some new
gosh, it was
it's
so
some new
bad.
future technology. I didn't care
No,
about that
it was-
part.
But
it
I
was-
do. That's
That's part of the
completely
plot. That's part of the
Yeah.
plot. And like, if the plot has holes that big in it, like,
It's
a problem.
It's
ride or die at that.
future.
That is
it's
not
the future.
No.
They figured out how to keep her in a
No.
I
coma.
did find it funny that they had a map of Michigan there, though, and I'm like, oh,
Oh,
QAnon
really?
or whatever. Like,
It was like in
that was-
Detroit. It was supposed
that
to
was
take place in
hilarious.
Detroit.
No, I think it was that they were trying to hint because, like, Michigan is known for like its
The crazies,
yeah, the QAnon,
the
following or
incel
whatever
men,
the
and
heck it is.
the ones who tried to kidnap Gretchen
Yeah,
and things like that.
so because of that, like they had the map
Look.
of Michigan up there, and I'm just like, yeah.
All of these
Funny.
ideas are
I didn't
fine.
catch
I
that.
actually like what the movie's presenting, but it does not land.
Not at all.
None of it for me, and that's and not okay. Forget the plot holes. I will say what I did like. Oh my god, the best scene in this movie. And again, this is a hard movie to root because there are some really good things in this movie.
Yeah.
But then you think about it and you're like, that's crappy. But here's when Florence Pugh and Chris Pine said to Chris Pine. I love Chris Pine. I think Chris Pine is one of the best actors working today. He is the hero of Wonder Woman. I don't care what anybody says. He is the hero in Wonder Woman. He is so good in Wonder Woman. It's
Okay.
ridiculous. He goes up and like Florence Pugh is cutting vegetables at the end for the party. And he's like, I want to see what you're going to do. Like he's playing a game with her, right? Oh my god. And then
she
like
comes out and like she
they-
tries to like make an argument
Oh,
for herself.
dude, I had
that was
goosebumps.
phenomenal. That was honestly phenomenal. I
It was
love
like-
that dinner scene.
Oh, it's
That was probably the best part of the movie.
Try to remember things that they want us to forget.
I'm curious to hear where she's going with this.
Frank is doing something to us.
it's the best part of the yes. That entire dinner scene. If it's just that,
It was
oh
so
my
good.
God. Didn't
so
you say you were
good.
from Boston, Philadelphia? I mean,
All the
Yeah.
women
Every
here
line.
from Boston,
From
Philadelphia,
Philadelphia? Yeah.
Chicago.
oh, the
And how long
acting, the
has she been
tension.
pregnant? And yeah,
Dude, the delivery, like Florence Pugh and Chris Pine were just lighting that screen up. They're
they were
so good.
They were great. Yeah.
And like like when this is the part where the theater went, oh, when like Chris Pine goes, I shared my bedroom with you, and everybody was just like, wait, what? Like it was like such a bombshell.
And then he goes, I thought I expected more of you. Like,
Yes.
Oh.
Oh my! Like from that scene, it's weird because the last 45 minutes of this movie, from that dinner scene to him, Harry Styles getting a promotion, is so good. And then
My
they do this,
question was, the bedroom scene though, wasn't that at the very start?
I'm
Because
trying to.
I thought
It was
I
the
thought it was
beginning.
literally the scene where where her and Harry Styles were having sex, and he
At
walks
the party.
in. Yeah,
At the country club.
at his house.
Yeah, at his house.
He walks in and he's just staring at her, and she's like, what the heck is he doing? And then he just
Yeah.
like stares, and he like walks away.
Yeah.
Like that was a funny part. To me, that was funny. But yeah,
Wait, I did not catch any of that.
that was at the very start. So you remember how like they're like, oh yeah, we're at Frank's house. This is awesome. Like
That's where the
can't
dinner
believe-
was.
Yeah, the
Oh,
first.
so-
No, not the dinner. The dinner was at Harry Styles' house.
Okay.
But at the very start of the movie, they're basically
Where the guy was laughing so hard in the theater I couldn't pay attention. That's what you're talking about.
It was shortly after that, because like that first
Okay.
the first scene where they're like dancing with like the cups on their heads.
Yeah.
That
that
scene.
was at one of the other places, but then shortly after that they go to like another party, pretty much. Where everybody was together.
Oh my gosh! It just
like
all.
in like a garden kind of thing.
It just also
I-
weirdly.
It is
it's
kind
not-
of strange. They
see,
didn't
they
really
didn't-
explain.
no.
They didn't show.
I'm glad
much
you
of the
told me
stuff
that.
changing.
'Cause-
Hmm.
But yeah, like so
Chris
they were
Pine
at,
isn't
like, a
lying
big
then.
backyard, and that was Frank's house.
Yeah, that was his house.
So basically, while they were at his house, Harry Styles and Florence Pugh went to like one of the rooms, and Florence Pugh is like, "No, there's so many people here," and like Harry Styles is like, "Whatever."
And he's having sex with her,
He's
and he's
having
standing.
sex with her.
Yeah, I was
and Chris
wondering.
Pine
He was
walks
just standing
in,
there
and
and
he
was just
stands
watching.
there and watches.
It was so creepy though.
And he's like,
oh yeah, that was
and then he
so
just goes
creepy.
and walks away. And yeah, that I think was the one where, like, I think that's what he meant by share the bedroom. Possibly. It was either that or he basically did that as a dig to try to like remove
Well,
the
I thought
rest
he
of
was
their
just lying
trust
to.
in
Yeah.
her.
I thought he was just like going on the attack because she was attacking him at the
It could
dinner,
very
No,
possibly
and it
it
was
was
a lie,
fake.
and Chris Pine was
But
just lying.
I think it was more so that he like twisted the truth. Like
Yeah.
he basically was like, "Oh, well, I shared my bedroom with you," as in like
I let you guys have
technically
sex.
he did. Technically
Okay.
he did because the two of them were having sex in his bedroom.
Not that
But-
he had
not
sex
that
with
he had sex
Florence.
with her, but like he technically worded it in a way that was true, but like
See, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's confusing. As a person,
I think that might have been once again
okay.
if Olivia Wilde was trying to do this based off of what Jordan Peterson, like his style, she might have been like, "Oh, he's very witty, so let's throw this in there as well," because he is extremely witty.
Okay.
That's
That's
the best
your-
I can come up with.
You see, I'm just trying to figure out this movie, and it's not making a lot of
There
sense.
were some, okay. Let me dig into some other huge plot holes. What the heck was up with the airplane? There was no reason
There
for
was
it.
okay. that
Literally
was a
no
plot hole.
reason.
I
No,
never
they,
figured it out.
they
Any
explained
of
it.
those
They
things.
explained it.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
Yep.
Not a single thing.
No.
None of it made sense.
It didn't.
It didn't.
Why was there a random airplane
Why
that
was there an
crashed?
airplane that just basically like flew across,
Then crashed.
then crashed? There was no reason
There
for
wasn't.
it. It's all this
Oh,
entire
geez,
thing
right.
was
Okay.
just like virtual reality.
Bullshit.
There was no reason for that. The only thing I could think of was maybe she literally was partially losing her mind at the same time.
I was just like on
and that
Florence
was-
Pugh. I'm like, dude, like the plane, like go save them.
No, I could tell based off like the way it was. I'm like, oh, that's like a mirage kind of thing. Like
It was a
she's-
mirage.
She's not.
Was
the
Chris
only
Pine
thing-
messing with her?
I thought her
think
subconscious was
so.
trying to escape, and the plane was a way to get her to. Because that's what my friend said when I saw it. I'm like, what the
That could
plane?
be.
Because
There was-
the
But then the
driver
problem
didn't
is
see
that-
it.
Then technically that still would be like a mental issue.
So you gotta
Right,
understand,
yeah.
every woman in this place does have an understanding. There's so much to talk about. Good lord. Has an understanding they're trapped. Florence Pugh entire thing.
No, they don't have an understanding.
Well, wait, let me explain. So Florence Pugh entire thing was like whatever that top of the mountain place was, the mirrors and the
Yeah,
whatever she was trying to run to at the end.
yeah,
And like there was that whole scene where the black chick is like smashing against the window against her head.
yeah. That one figured
Um,
it out.
That was her.
Mhm.
The black woman was like was the first one to figure out like this is a trap. Florence Pugh's mind was being reset every time. Like so, the plane is her trying to escape, and it's like a subconscious plot like thing to get her to go there.
Oh, okay, all right.
Do you see? And like, do you see? And then when she got there, she wakes up in the bedroom, and she's like, "I was just in the desert." Like, and I was
Oh, and they reset her. That
because they
time
come
when
with the
she woke
jackets,
up.
right? Like they all
Yeah.
come with the jumbo jackets and.
Yeah.
Like they come and grab them when they're trying to escape or something's happening. So they're leaving like little clues, the woman. And Olivia Wilde, and I like this part of Olivia Wilde, she says, I know this isn't real. And I know this is a trap. But I have 2 kids here that didn't die. So I'm just going to go ahead and stay here. Because even if
Mhm.
they're not
It's like
real.
WandaVision.
Oh my God. Like
Yeah.
that line from Olivia Wilde was so gosh darn brilliant.
I
Because it's like,
know.
and including Chris Pine's wife, where she was like, who was in Eternals? She was the leader of Eternals. That was Chris Pine's wife.
Hmm?
Chloe, whatever her name is.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that's here or there. But I did like the end, just like where she takes the knife and just like stabs Chris Pine and twists it, and it's like
to me that made no sense.
it made 0 sense. I liked it. That I thought about it is what I was trying to get at, and be like, now it's my turn. So wait. You want to trap other people in this, even though your husband's doing
Well,
it?
of course.
That's a
I mean,
stupid-
it's just a
Oh, 'cause
power
she knows.
struggle is the whole thing. I guess.
So like Chris Pine and her are in on it. Okay,
That's
I
the
guess.
only thing I can think of. Like half of this stuff didn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Right.
But
So
it was a cool thriller.
it was, and then like how did it's like if you kill somebody in the virtual reality, it's like the Matrix, they die.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how did she kill Harry Styles? Why would Harry Styles die in real life? There's no knife to stab.
No,
I don't
she
understand.
smacked him over the head with a glass and like
Oh,
really
that's
hard.
right. Sorry. So why did he die in real life then? And like
Because like basically, I think it basically simulated that
He died.
happening to his
Brain.
brain, and
So then it makes it happen
yeah,
in real life. Okay.
or basically kind of like fried his brain somehow or something. Who knows?
You were saying something before I cut you off.
I usually am. I don't remember, but I liked it. I thought it was a great movie. I enjoyed it, and
No, I still like. So here's the weird thing. I do like this movie,
yeah, it was good.
but if I think about it too long, I hate this movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I still have problem with the plot holes, but I think this is a good side note to end it on. It's like it has great cinematography.
A really, really good cinematography.
a great cast.
Great,
Great,
oh, great
all-star
cast.
cast. Yeah.
And it's okay. That's what I was remembering. Twilight,
Twilight Zone.
Black Mirror.
Black
Do you remember
Mirror,
the
yeah.
episode of Black Mirror where it's like a dating game and they have to find
Yeah.
each other,
Yes.
but everyone's in on it,
yeah.
and you find your soulmate,
yeah.
and if you escape, the app tells you like this is the one for you. You guys are meant to be married and
if
be
you
happy.
escape,
if
yeah,
you
that's
escape.
right.
That's what it reminded me of the
Yeah,
whole
it's kinda
time.
like that.
Is that what you were
Yeah.
thinking too, or were you thinking
I
of
have
another?
not seen that episode of Black Mirror, so I don't know.
You need to finish
Oh,
Black Mirror. That's
I
a
don't
okay.
great
have
show.
time. I have
know.
like
I
so
know.
many other shows I'm watching.
No, he's stuck in Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones right now.
Lord
or
of the Rings, Game of Thrones, Fruits Basket, the new
Oh,
Cyberpunk
Fruit
series.
Basket. Yeah.
I've got like so much. There's
Wait,
like
Cyberpunk,
the
there's a
Black
new series?
Summoner. I've like I have at least like 5 shows I'm watching right now.
No, that's fine.
It's so
Okay,
much.
let me check. Okay, so let's finish this review off really
Yeah.
quickly. I think we talked. Everyone's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, guys. If you've seen, gosh, I already forget the name. Don't,
Don't
worry,
darling.
If you've seen Don't Worry, Darling, tell us your thoughts and if the movie made sense to you. Did the plot holes bother you? Do you agree with me and George that the story doesn't make sense? Do you agree with Shannon that it's a great thriller? It doesn't really matter with the plot holes. Like, what did you guys think? Leave us a comment and let us know. And we'll catch you guys next time.